Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line a little early this week. He's from Cinemablend.com. He writes about movies and life and the quantum realm. Friends, it is Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. Hey, buddy.
The quantum realm can neither be confirmed nor unconfirmed. So that's all I can really tell you at this point.
There you go.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Like I said, we're recording a little early this week. Mike is going to be taking a trip this week that we'll be talking about here in the next few weeks, maybe, possibly.
We could probably talk about it next week. I mean, I can say where I'm going. I'm actually going off to Universal Orlando to cover their Mardi Gras festival and to walk around, basically experience the park. I haven't been in like 20 years, and it's going to be really exciting to reacquaint myself with this wonderful place, especially almost a year since I went to Disney for the Tron opening.
What's the big ride at Universal now?
I mean, from what I can see, it really depends on what you're talking about, because the latest big ride they put in was I think it was VillainCon International, or
okay.
Hold on, let me look this up, because it's a new Despicable Me ride.
Okay.
That they added not too long ago, and they started redoing Universal Orlando, what most people know as Universal Studios, the first park. They've started redoing that, and all of this is happening while they're also getting ready to open a third park in 2025, Universal Epic Universe, which they just released some details on that recently as to the sections that are going to be in there and some of the rides.
Okay. That's interesting. I haven't been to Florida since 1998. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it definitely has. But Illumination's VillainCon Minion Blast
is
the last big one that I had heard they put in. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to catch up with everything, because the last time I was there, they still had the Twister ride. They still had Terminator 2 Adventure Through Time. And these are just two of the things that have now been closed and taken away. Twister has now become a Jimmy Fallon ride, and Terminator 2, if I'm not mistaken, became the Bourne Stunt Spectacular.
Okay. Don't they have Hogwarts down there or something too?
Oh, yes, they do. They
Diagon
have the
Alley.
Wizarding World of Harry Potter, stretching between the two parks, the Islands of Adventure and it was the Bourne Stuntacular.
All right, cool. Well, we'll talk about that and what you thought of it here next week. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me. Not a lot in the way of movies opening this week. Is there anything that seems interesting to you, or that you want to see, or that you will see? What's kind of the word right now?
I know my wife is excited to see Lisa Frankenstein.
Okay.
And I'm sort of on the fence. I mean, we'll see. I'm not a terribly huge fan of Diablo Cody's, although I will say, I think it was Young Adult was one that was really interesting that I think was overlooked, with Charlize Theron and Patton Oswalt. So that was like years ago, though. But that looks like it's going to be a big one. There's also an indie movie called Out of Darkness, which looks good. And that's sort of like a prehistoric horror movie. Not so much prehistoric like dinosaurs and such, but like primeval humans.
Okay.
45,000 years ago, and something is hunting them in the forest, and they don't know what it is.
It's Predator.
It kind of looks like a Predator sort of thing, to be honest.
A Predator
sort of movie. I don't know what the creature looks like, but it looks fun.
I was just saying that out of nowhere, that I think it was Predator. So nowhere in there did I think, oh, wow, it's really Predator.
Hey, we got Prey, so there's a market for that sort of movie.
Prey was really good.
Prey was really good. I want more. I want to see more of that.
So cool. Well, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. Is that kind of it for the movies that are coming out this week?
Yeah, I mean, those are like the sort of big ones. Like I don't know if we're sort of back next week with both the Bob Marley movie, Bob Marley One Love, and Madam Web. Both of those will be opening for Valentine's Day. So those will be opening early, and you'll probably be hearing from us afterwards.
There you go. All right, so as we move on down the road, we got to jump into the world of movie news this week. And late last week on Friday, I kind of want to start with the Carl Weathers stuff. On Friday, we had already recorded, and it was ready to go on. And news came out that Carl Weathers had passed away.
Yeah, that was a very surprising day, because I know there was two passings that we had reported on. And Carl Weathers was one of them. He apparently I think he had passed in his home the Tuesday prior, and they announced it on the 1st. Or I might be confusing him with Mark Gustafson, who was the co-director of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. But Carl Weathers, man, you want to talk about someone who not only had an amazing career to call his own, but also just has nothing but like glowing stories of his that have been shared by his co-stars. Have you seen Sylvester Stallone's video paying tribute to him?
Yes.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
That really broke my heart, because you see him like trying to keep it together about everything, and just he was absolutely right. Apollo Creed is one of those characters that not only is so much of pop culture built off of what he did, but so much of the Rocky franchise was built off of that. And then there was a wonderful story that Nick DeSimlian, sir, I'm sorry if I screwed up your name. He has a book called The Last Action Heroes, and he talks about like the 80s and 90s big ticket action stars in their movies. And he got a story from John McTiernan about how when they were casting Predator, he fought for Carl Weathers to be in there because he knew Carl Weathers would be able to help Arnold up his game. And like Arnold he talked about how Arnold sort of shadowed him on set and would sort of watch what he did, and it worked. And then, of course, you've got other movies like Happy Gilmore. You have him on shows like The Mandalorian. He was part of the Toy Story franchise, Arrested Development. There's so much that this man has done, and there is nothing that he could not do.
Again, it's just nothing bad to say about the dude, you know?
No, I mean, he was a legend for a reason.
And that handshake with Arnold Schwarzenegger will live in infamy.
Dylan, you son of a bitch. Like, not just because it's a meme moment, but because that is an amazing moment to set those characters up in Predator.
Yeah.
Like the story behind how they made that movie and how last minute a lot of stuff came together. Look into it sometime, especially Shane Black basically being kind of sort of kidnapped to rewrite and finish the film.
I always liked how they talked about Jean-Claude Van Damme being the Predator.
Oh, yeah, in the original costume. And then they decided to go a different way.
The original costume was bad.
Well, I think that was supposed to be replaced with, like, effects later on. But
no,
yeah,
that was it. That was what it was supposed to...
It was pretty rough.
Just, I believe it. What was it? It was like orange or green, wasn't it? I can't remember.
It was green with, like, tennis balls on it, I think. Oh, so I did not know this until I just looked it up. Do you know who the Predator's voice was?
I do not.
Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime himself.
No shit.
According to Wikipedia, it supplies the Predator's voice, credited as providing vocals, noted as vocalizations by, in the staff role.
Oh, wow.
So I guess maybe he gave it the laugh. Hell of a movie.
Which by the way, I taught Jace how to do that as a really little kid. I was like, that was a good dad moment there. So anyways, Carl Weathers, we wish you nothing but the best in the great beyond. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com is on the line with me right now. What other news stuff is floating around out there?
Oh, everything is floating around out there. It's just, we're all kind of locking in it. I'm looking for something, trust me.
You kind of sound like you were going down the realm of Pete Holmes. You ever seen the one where he's talking about, we're on a rock, flying through space. None of it makes sense.
No, I have not seen that one. I will say, though, obviously, we are talking to each other before the big game.
Yes.
I don't know what sort of verbiage we're allowed to use on air here, so I'll say the big game.
Well, here's what it comes down to. If you're ever, and this is what they kind of tell us in radio, if you're like this or the NCAA tournament, if you're doing it as a news story, right, you can say whatever you want. If you're doing it as, hey, come out to such and such, place to watch the game or to have cheap beer, whatever. If it's an advertisement, then you can't say anything.
Okay, so we're technically good.
Yeah, but the big game's coming up this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the big game's coming, and we're already hearing about what ads we should expect in terms of movie trailers.
Yes.
Twisters is possibly going to do its first trailer. I should have led with the one everybody already has been talking about, Deadpool 3. Deadpool 3 sounds like it's going to drop its first trailer during
Oh, cool.
the big game. Can edit it, whatever. It sounds like Deadpool 3 is going to have its first trailer. It sounds like Twisters is going to be putting out a trailer. What else? I think Fall Guy's doing a new one because I'm tasked to be writing that up. And let's see, we might get our first trailer for Wicked as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's already some ads that are coming out, like Quiet Place Day One's trailer already went up. I know If is supposed to be doing a new trailer.
Okay.
Because they already teased that. And non-movie trailer things, an ad I'm going to be looking out for that I just found out about the existence of today. Christopher Walken's doing a BMW ad.
Oh, my goodness.
And there is a small commercial that I found on YouTube where he's like, what, a commercial? For a commercial? They do that now? Or something along those lines. And it's like, oh, man, you got me. You got me. It's about as cool as when they had Christoph Waltz in Germany doing BMW ads in German. Or I think he did like a viral video for them or something, but I know that was something he had done. So, yeah. I also heard that Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer are apparently reuniting for an Uber Eats ad. Wow, that really stopped you in your tracks.
I heard you typing, and I thought that you were looking up something else real quick, so I was just giving you space.
Well, I mean, I am, but at the same time, I was just like, I kind of left a room there for you.
Jennifer Aniston doesn't do much for me. The whole, whether it was, or movies or Friends, or I'm not saying I dislike her by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, she's not one of my favorites. So it's, it kind of is what it is. Like, okay, Jennifer Aniston, cool.
Jason Momoa is doing a T-Mobile ad.
Oh, that'll be good.
You had told me about Sir Patrick Stewart doing a Paramount Plus ad, which I now need to see, considering the clip, the quote I've just seen that came from it.
It is freaking amazing.
We also have, what was it? Martin Scorsese doing a Squarespace ad.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of amazing. And I saw that he also had something. I think I saw a clip of it on social media, and it's him and his daughter Francesca making a website, and it was really cute. Like, it was like really legitimately adorable, and I love seeing those two. Like, she's really helped him sort of identify with the youth through social media and what have you, and it's been a really cute experience. But yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of ads, and if I read correctly, Nickelodeon is since they have that whole thing with the NFL where they've been doing their own versions of football telecasts, and plus since the Super Bowl on CBS this year, if I'm not mistaken, so it's all in the Viacom Paramount family. It looks like the halftime show for that will be SpongeBob's Sweet Victory, which was something that people really wanted to happen during the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and it never happened. They were really upset about it, and now it's actually happening.
Oh, cool. No, it should be fun. It should be a good game. Commercials are always interesting. I always used to get really fired up for the movie commercials or the trailers, because you didn't have YouTube what it is today, where you could just automatically go see it,
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I can remember when the Transformer trailers would come out, or, just anything like that. It's like, oh my God, this is crap. Did you see that? There was a whole lot of, and then you waited around to see it again,
Yeah, like Cloverfield Paradox's ad, where all of a sudden it's like, yeah, the movie's going to be available tonight on Netflix. Or the first ad for like Super 8, the first Matrix ad, which really blew everybody's minds, where it's like, what is the Matrix.com? What is this?
Yeah. So that part of the game will always be interesting. And I mean, we could talk about the game itself, but that's not really for, this sort of podcast, I imagine. Although
the game itself and Taylor Swift's role in it is not really something that I think we'd be talking about, unless, like, all of a sudden she does, go out on stage and endorse Joe Biden, or get engaged to Travis Kelce at the game, or, I guess we'd have to talk about that a little bit.
I had that theory last week or whatever. I was talking to one of my other buddies, and I'm like, if Kansas City wins, I could see Travis Kelce proposing to Taylor Swift. But then you get into the thing of it's a little too perfect. Their relationship. She's a superstar. He's a superstar in the NFL. He wins the Super Bowl. And then he proposes and it just seems a little too perfect.
That's the brand, though. That is so the brand.
Yeah. So,
but also, Inside Out 2 and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes probably have trailers coming on Sunday too.
Oh, cool. Well, I always like how they do, they'll do like hey, to see the full one, head over to such and such website,
Yeah.
So, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me right now. Real quick, what do we want to wrap up with? Because we kind of went, around the world here with different topics. I know I'd sent you a couple interesting TikToks the other day that kind of go into the world of fan theories. Do you want to talk about one of those? You want to talk about something else? What do you got for me, Mike?
You're the one that's already provided. You've already done the setup. Why wouldn't you talk about that? Like everybody's like, what TikToks is it? No, talk about that. About that. Like I can just hear people being like that.
Sorry, I've got this splitting headache, and I like just don't feel great at the moment. So I'm doing the best I can.
I hate that for you, but at the same time, I'm honored that you actually wanted to keep this appointment with me.
I did an interview with a migraine one time, and it was only like 5 minutes, but it was the longest 5 minutes of my life because I felt so awful.
Oh, I can definitely sympathize with that because there's just some of those. Even if you're not feeling bad, like if the room itself just isn't feeling good in terms of like vibe, 5 minutes can be forever.
Oh yeah. So anyways, so one of the TikToks I sent you was a fan theory. And I haven't seen the Willy Wonka movie or the new one.
I have.
But there's a scene where he throws a coin up in the air and it goes through his pocket and lands in a grate, right?
Yeah.
What's the context of that? Was he just singing a song or what?
It was so that's the very beginning of the movie. Willy Wonka is singing a song about arriving in town and having a certain amount of money in his pocket, and then he slowly is whittled down to that last coin. And he just, or second to last coin. It's one of his last few coins that he has on him in the first number. And then he flips it. It falls into the grate and falls into some water, and it's like, great. Now he's just even more broke than before.
Okay. Well, the theory is that if you remember the original Willy Wonka, Charlie, he gets to buy the last chocolate bar that eventually leads to the golden ticket. He finds a coin in the sewer grate. And the theory is that it's the same coin that Willy Wonka lost in that movie.
I want that theory to be proven, to be confirmed so much because it feels like such a wonderful closed circle moment.
It does. It really, really does. And it's one of those neat things where it's not like sometimes movies try too hard to connect different movies.
Yeah.
I always like I like the simple ones that it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb where it seems like they're trying too hard. Like I always liked how Aliens and Blade Runner all seem to be in the same universe.
Yeah, I thought I heard that.
I know
Alien. I know Alien and whatchamacallit. Alien and Blade Runner, definitely.
Yeah. There's a scene in Soldier where one of the cars from Blade Runner is in the dump that Kurt Russell's in, and I like stuff like that when you connect movies where it's not asking me to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to try and go, oh, okay, I make the connection that this is, this isn't confusing in the least.
Yeah.
So this kind of goes to that same theory where it's a great connection between those two movies. And I don't want to say ties up loose ends, but it's a fun one.
The way Wonka plays out, it has connections to Willy Wonka, but it does all feel organic and right. It feels good. So it's nothing where it's like, oh, we got to this point. Oh, we're obviously going to get to this point. It's like, no, everything is just, it's neatly put into place, but it also just reveals itself at the right time. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the sort of detail that they put in there to go back to.
Yeah.
But also I'm glad that we're just thinking about this now as opposed to talking about it for months. And it's like, oh, that was always built in there.
When did that
It was
movie come
always
out?
December.
And boy, it took almost to February for anybody to go, oh, how about that?
It has been a slow burn movie, to be honest. It has been
Okay.
a slow burn movie with people, and that is something else that I have really, really enjoyed, where it's had legs. It's been able to make a decent amount of money over time. And now I think it's on PVOD, and now even more people are going to get to see it.
All right, cool. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me right now. I kind of ran out of ideas. What do you want to wrap up with? Dealer's choice.
I did have something for this. I just don't remember it. Man, I mean, we could have saved the big game for the end of everything, but we talked about that a lot.
Okay. Okay. We'll wrap up with this. Going back to the big game stuff and the trailer. What trailer do you want to see?
I really want to see the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes trailer.
Okay. I kind of figured it would be that.
That's a big one for me. I still have to watch the Day One Quiet Place trailer because I'm very curious how this is going to play out. Where day one, you're in New York, one of the noisiest cities, and it's like, wait a minute, how is this not a short film? Where it's just like a lot of people get devoured and maybe a handful of people are there, but like it's New York. If you're a sound-based organism, you're devouring everything very quickly.
Real quick, kind of off the subject, but there was something I saw that I don't remember what it was from or whatever, but it talked about, remember 13 Ghosts?
Yeah, I vaguely remember 13. I haven't seen it in a long time.
They talked about that might be turned into a series of some sort. I don't know where I saw it or whatever. This is the other day, and I'm not at 100% at the moment, so.
Well, there's also what also came up this week is the new Jurassic World movie.
Yeah,
might be getting David Leitch, the director of Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw, and The Fall Guy, as its director, and that movie will be coming out next July.
Interesting. And they want to reboot it, don't they?
I don't know. They just said it's the next Jurassic era. I don't think they're going to want to reboot it from ground up. Even though for years there have been rumors that they were going to reboot and remake Jurassic Park because they would maybe do a more book accurate story, that the rights were going to they were going to run out of the rights for Jurassic Park were going to expire. That's why Jurassic World movies have been made. Like there's been all these sorts of rumors that have come up over the years. I don't know if they're going to want to just start it from ground up, like start it from square one. But it's going to be something new with new characters, is my understanding. And you've got, I don't know if we mentioned this the other week, but this all came up, it seemed to come up rather overnight because they announced that a couple of weeks ago, they announced David Koepp, the screenwriter behind Jurassic Park 1, who shares credit with original author Michael Crichton for that first Steven Spielberg movie. He's being brought back to write the story. And then even then they were like, oh, yeah, there's talk of, potentially releasing the movie next summer. And it's like, OK, that sounds pretty bullish. But from what they were saying in that initial report, it's like, yeah, they've been working on this in secret for a little while. And that's why they announced the writer and they could say, hey, it's going to be next year. Sure enough, they say David Leitch was in conversations to direct, and then the official Jurassic social media accounts put up a graphic that said July 2nd, 2025.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that is happening rather quickly. It will probably be shooting in the next couple months. I'm hoping maybe since they brought in a director that's so action-based in his filmography, because he also directed Atomic Blonde, I'm hoping what ends up happening is maybe this is just a lean and mean, like, Jurassic adventure movie.
Yeah.
Especially if they pick up from the last trilogy where, like, dinosaurs are in our world, eating our things, terrorizing our children.
Eating our things?
Eating our things. Eating our pets. Terrorizing our children.
Those mother...
Yeah. Just a big kick.
Eating our things.
Eating our things, terrorizing our children, taking the label off of the TV guide without care.
Those sons of bitches.
Dinosaurs, man. It's just dinosaurs. So scary.
They just kind of come in and stomp around and,
He's
eat your
doing all these
salad.
things, yeah. Norm Macdonald is Dr. Ian Malcolm. Yeah, well, life finds a way, There's kind of dinosaurs running around, stomping over things, and I'm just sitting there. It's like, can I just have a beer? Can I just relax for a moment?
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every week on the show to talk about movies and the world of entertainment. We'll end it there for this week. Mike, have a safe trip, and we'll talk to you next week, okay?
Thank you, sir, and please protect your things, folks.
Yeah, they just come in and bite it with their teeth.
Dinosaurs gonna eat your things, stealing your children, terrorizing your homes. It's very, very sad.